So I'll be talking about this book today. Where do my notes start? There we go. The Science of the Sacred by Nicole Redvers. Page 27. The process of methylation is essential for helping to repair your DNA to prevent conditions such as cancer. The process also helps recycle molecules needed for detoxification, neutralizing drugs and toxins. It helps mood, keeps inflammation in check, and helps control a type of amino acid called homocysteine, which, if too high, can damage blood vessels, contributing to cardiovascular disease. Epigenetics, genes can change when impacted by trauma. 28. Genetic polymorphism, single nucleotide polymorphism, or SNPs, are most common to test for. SNPs can predict a response to drugs, susceptibility to environmental factors, toxins, and disease risk. With double positive MTHFR SNP can't turn inactive folate into active form very well. The person can get a slight buildup of inactive folic acid in their system. These people don't tolerate over-the-counter multivitamins or B-complex well. That person's folate level may look great in a blood test, even though the bioavailable folate in their system's low. If they can't process folic acid efficiently, they can get an elevation of homocysteine. 30. People with high homocysteine also don't produce as much methionine, another amino acid, which is involved in many different processes in our bodies, including helping to break down many neurotransmitters which affect how we feel. Women should take folic acid when pregnant, but most available is inactive. The MTHFR gene pathway is also responsible for so many other functions, such as the neutralization of toxins, hormones, and stress neurotransmitters. So that was on page 30. 31. Folic acid fortified foods can cause stress. All patients who have a plus MTHFR variant need activated forms of folate, particularly during the prenatal period, or if their homocysteine levels are elevated, or they're excreting too much FIGLU, form miminoglutamate in their urine. That's page 32. These patients will likely feel worse taking activated folate if they have a history of depression and anxiety, trauma, because this patient also has a COMT positive variant. The COMT gene pathway is responsible for breaking down and keeping the balance of neurotransmitters in our bodies. When the COMT pathway doesn't function well, we can get a buildup of these neurotransmitters in our bodies. This can lead to increasing rates of anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia. So methyl agents, such as activated folate, may be less tolerated without ensuring other backups are in place. The VDR++ SNP indicates that it is hard for this person to utilize vitamin D. This means vitamin D consumed must be higher than for the average population to ensure adequate calcium absorption, and their ability to fight off infections would be low. Darker skin tone limits the absorption of vitamin D. Lower vitamin D contributes to lower mood and higher susceptibilities to cancer, autoimmune conditions, hypertension, and diabetes. The Dene people in Canada have a 90% rate of VDR SNPs compared with a 36% rate in Caucasians. The Inuit have higher rates of COMT and other liver enzyme-related SNPs that make them more susceptible to environmental pollutants such as circulating persistent organic pollutants, POPs, which exist in higher amounts in circumpolar areas, putting them at a double risk disadvantage. 47. The genomic instability observed in tumor cells and all other recognized hallmark of cancer are considered downstream epiphenomena of the initial disturbance of cellular energy metabolism. 48. What this means is that the energy regulation of the cells in mitochondria starts to not function as well as it should. Look at oxidative markers such as 8-hydroxy-2-deoxyguanosine contribute to cancer development, that by measuring metabolic end products that are involved in mitochondrial energy production, we may be able to pick up individuals at risk for future cancer development and intervene sooner. If mitochondria get stressed, they don't self-regulate well, which results in changes to our cellular metabolism. 49. The mitochondria are affected by high states of oxidation, which occur when people are exposed to things such as standard American diet, lack of antioxidants from plants, trans fats, and chemical exposure like cigarette smoke. Dr. Stephanie Seneff suggests some tumors may occur as a means for the body to solve a problem of metabolism. The cancer process itself comes to the rescue of cellular dysfunctions in the vascular walls caused by various factors, many preventable, which have unleashed cell survival pathways. Paul Davies and Charles Lineweaver think cancer is an atavistic condition, which is the tendency to revert to an ancestral type that occurs when genetic or epigenetic malfunction unlocks an ancient toolkit or pre-existing adaptations. Basically, they think that attacking the tumor is just treating the symptom of the disease. Page 51. Many traditional medicine people have an excellent sense of smell. A traditional healer can smell a sick person from across the room and knows what's wrong with them. Maple syrup, urine disease, patient's urine, sweat, and earwax smelled like maple syrup. Acetone on breath of diabetic. Fishy odor in advanced liver disease. Boiled cabbage smell of people who can't process methionine. Sweaty feet / cheese smell with accumulation of isovaleric acid caused by an enzymatic block of leucine amino acid metabolism. 52. Volatile biomarkers in breath of breast cancer patients increase oxidation and misoxidation of certain fatty acids in the membrane of cells. After being modified in the liver, change the chemical composition of breath. Dogs better for current testing methods for screening. 53. Support dogs trained to alert diabetic of blood sugar changes. 63. Pulse analysis. Blood travels with different rates in different organs, resulting in different patterns that allow characterization of the health conditions of a particular organ. Conditions of organs can be reflected in wrist pulse patterns. Fingertips packed with thousands of nerve endings, which produce complex patterns of nervous impulses. Nerve endings and fingertips can perform complex neural computations that were thought to be carried out by the brain. Traditional medicine practitioners take pulse with 3 fingers and feel pulse at 3 depths, 9 readings each wrist. 66. 20 new chemicals not previously detected now found in umbilical cord blood of newborns, including TBBPA, tetrabromobiphenols A, from computer circuit boards, synthetic fragrances, and Teflon-related perfluorobutanoic acid. 69. Regular sauna use decreases colds, lowers pain, improves fibromyalgia, depression, and tension headache pain. It even helps those with eating disorders. Heat therapy improves diabetes. Regular sauna use reduces cardiovascular disease. The more frequent the use, the longer it's done, the more benefit sauna has. Sauna decreases oxidative stress total, and LDL cholesterol goes down. 71. Hyperthermia treatment for cancer. 72. 2015 CDC report, we are all full of toxic chemicals. Styrene, 1,4-dichlorobenzene, xylene, and ethylphenol are in 100% of us now. Phthalates are ubiquitous xenobiotics, agents that negatively affect our hormones, found in many plastic products and cosmetics and creams in everyday use. Phthalate exposure of pregnant may affect fetal development. Testing has been done regarding isolated agents, but combined exposure is a big deal. These chemicals are stored in fat tissue and are thought to get out, or tough to get out. Sweat bathing helps release some of them, and also releases heavy metals. 88, magnetite, Fe3O4, was initially thought to only be precipitated biochemically by bacteria, protists, and certain animals such as bats, dolphins, and honeybees, now known to help birds migrate too. Works with the Earth's magnetic field to guide birds in correct direction. Magnetite has now been shown to exist in human brain tissue, with a presence of a minimum of 5 million single-domain crystals per grain for most tissues of the brain, and greater than 100 million crystals per gram for Pia and Dura. I don't know what that means. This mineral interacts more than 1 million times more strongly with external magnetic fields than do some of our own elements affected by magnetism, such as ferritin, a protein that stores iron. 89. Proteins in DNA function as something called piezoelectric crystal lattice structures. The piezoelectric effect means that there is a property of matter like DNA that may convert electromagnetic oscillations to mechanical vibrations and vice versa. An externally administered electromagnetic field can induce transcription and translation and will stop bacteria from reproducing, will affect energy generation, and on a larger scale will stimulate bone formation. 90. Stress is converted into an electrical signal. Bone itself can act as a light-emitting diode, LED. Bone is an LED that requires an outside source of light before an electric current makes it release its own light, and the light it emitted is at an infrared frequency but consistent. 110. Chinese person moving to Italy will do better on a Chinese diet than an Italian one. I don't necessarily think that's true. Mediterranean diet seems pretty healthy for most people, as far as I know.
Yeah.
117. I also don't agree with this. Trust that your cravings indicate that your body needs something. I used to believe that. If your body is craving water, you probably need water. But candy? No. Coffee? No. Potato chips? No.
Cookies for me sometimes?
Cookies? No.
So.
I mean, actually our bodies crave things that we're sensitive to a lot of the time, slightly allergic to. So,
Cheese.
I mean, we should never... Cheese for me. Love it. Can't have it.
We have different reactions.
Different reactions, but
not good for us.
not good. Aboriginal people made bannock from pollen of cattail and lichen traditionally. 124. Antidepressive medications have antimicrobial activity. They kill our gut microbes. Major depressive disorders in association with changes in gut permeability and microbiota composition. Half of babies in Australia were given at least one antibiotic prescription before they reached age 1. C-section delivered babies have higher diabetes rate and celiac, allergies, asthma, and all associated with gut flora disturbances. Ear infection increases in C-section babies and non-breastfed babies. 129. People digest ancestral foods more efficiently. Montrealers have more bacteria associated with consuming dairy products and citrus fruit, she says. In Greenland, they serve kiviak. You stuff 400 to 500 dead ox inside a dead seal body, leave it to ferment for several months under a rock for up to 1.5 years. The innards of the birds. Are you done eating?
Well, I wanted to eat some of this. Is that okay if I...
Oh, you can eat all of it if you want to. Well, that won't affect your... that is nothing like the innards of birds. So the innards of the birds liquefy, and to eat it, they cut the heads off the bird and drink the juices out. 131. The Cherokee...
Tell that to the paleo people.
Yeah, well, they might like it. I don't know.
It's hard to say.
Cherokee fermented bread. Nixtamal, partially cooked corn that has been soaked with calcium hydroxide, wrapped in corn leaves. Not there, honey. See, there's 2. Yeah, you have to stick a nail in between. There you go. Now you're good. Wrapped in corn leaves and allowed to ferment for 2 weeks. The I don't know, Texans maybe, South Texans. Set fish aside for 8 days. My writing's hard to read, and that was some word I'm not familiar with.
Coeltecans.
Okay.
Coeltecans.
Set fish aside for 8 days until larvae and other insects develop in the fish. Chippewa and Cree, blood mixed with half-digested food in caribou's stomach and boiled to a porridge consistency. They hang it up in the heat smoke for several days to make it taste real good. Thailand, Mang Mun, fermented ant eggs. India, Phan Payat or something, rotten potatoes, which I've never heard of. That Indian dish. They have other fermented dishes, I don't know. But anyway, Tepa, fermented white fish heads. Inuit, Sudan, Kai Digla, fermented vertebrae. Fermented food decreases blood pressure, so maybe your blood pressure's up, because I haven't been feeding you enough sauerkraut and stuff.
What'd you say?
Increases cognitive function, decreases excess weight, protects against certain cancers. 134, H. pylori's growth stimulated by bisphenol A, plastics, and the lining of canned foods such as tomatoes and soup. Exposure to 2,3,7,8 tetrachlorodibenzofuran, TCDF, persistent organic pollutant, POP, potentially alters the gut microbiome that contributes to obesity and other metabolic diseases. Bad bacteria poop can get into circulatory system and interfere with the mitochondrial respiratory chain, maybe, and ATP production. 138, yeast-related conditions diagnosed as damp heat in traditional Chinese medicine. Yeast counts can easily be measured by measuring the metabolite D-arabinotol. 156, plant-derived agent ibogaine is legal in New Zealand. So if you're wanting to get off opiates, I guess that's what you need, is ibogaine. And what a great place to go detox if you happen to be addicted to opiates. Go to New Zealand and
Been around a long time. Since 1972, or even earlier. Hunter S. Thompson made a lot of jokes about Edwin Muskie, Democratic.
No, it sounds like a good excuse to go to New Zealand. If you're.
I don't know if it was illegal. So yeah, Hunter S. Thompson was joking about 72. That's almost 50 years ago.
164. Trees message their distress in electrical signals via the roots and across fungi networks to others nearby when they're under attack. 167. After spending 3 days in the forest, study subjects showed a 50% increase in NK, that's what is it? Natural killer cell activity, as well as demonstrated induction of other intracellular anti-cancer proteins. A rise in NK activity was noted in the last week after the forest visit, and the positive effect lasted for a month following each weekend in the woods. NK levels don't change on urban walks. NK cell count increased by 39% after 14 days of forest therapy. Perforin increased 59% and increased eventually up to 114%. Granzyme B increased to 155% and then up to 359%. Forest therapy also reduced cortisol levels, decreased sympathetic nervous activity, decreased systolic blood pressure and heart rate, and increased sympathetic maybe? I don't know. Nerve activity, indicating a relaxed state. 169. Just having plants near us increases memory retention by up to 20%. See, I should have had more plants near me while I was abbreviating everything so I couldn't read it. And maybe I would have remembered. 177. Teens born after 195 are much more likely to experience mental health issues, but adolescents who spend less time on screen activities were less likely. So, 186. In Hindu creation theory of Advaita, which I wish James was still out here so he could pronounce that for me, the third of three theories states that creation is not an absolute real event. It actually never happened. 197. World Health Organization says shift work classified as probable carcinogen. Women weren't allowed to know which part of moon cycle they were in around full moon. EEG, delta activity during NREM sleep decreased by 30%, time to fall asleep increased by 5 minutes, and EEG assessed total sleep duration.
So I gotta head back to university.
Oh, okay, see ya.
Oh.
So that was this book. I found it very enjoyable.